welcome back to Constant Learners. This is our fourth video in Excel series. We have already discussed the very basics of Excel in the first three videos. If you haven't watched it, please do so, because in every video I have shared some shortcuts, some tips and tricks to be quick while working in Excel. Now in this video we are going to discuss how to select row, cell, column, range, tables, or the complete worksheet. Now you will say this is such an easy task, right? Why waste a video on something like this? But see, in Excel we are working with large quantities of data, right? And we need shortcuts to be quick while working with this data, and that's what we are going to deal with in this video, with the shortcuts of performing different tasks in Excel, right? And that's what we are dealing with in this video. We are going to learn shortcuts to select cell, range, row, column, table, or the complete worksheet, right? So let's get started. Now, what is a cell? These single rectangles that we see on our screen wherein we fill our data, maybe the text or the numbers, that is a cell, right? So how can we select a cell? We can either use a mouse, like quickly drag our mouse over the cell and click on that, right? Right now I've selected this yellow cell, okay? Or if I have to select this blue cell, I can just quickly click on that cell and the cell gets selected. But if I have to use a keyboard shortcut for the same, what can I do? I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard, right? Easy. If I have to go down, we can use the down arrow key. If I have to go up, we can use the up arrow key. If I have to go to the right, right arrow key, and for left, left arrow key, right? So as easy as that, right? Now what is a range? A range is a number of cells together is a range, right? Like for example, this here is a range. When a number of cells are maybe we can say right now selected together, then we say that this is a range of cells, right? This here is a range of cells, right? Now to select a range, we could simply click on the first cell that we want to start from, and then keep the mouse key pressed, the left key, right? And then drag along, and that is how we can select the cells. Select the first cell, keep the left key on the mouse pressed and drag it down, and wherever we want to stop, we can just release the key, and we have our range selected, right? Now if I have to select this range here and then select the cells on the right also, so simply start from the cell here, press the left key on the mouse, drag down, and then move to the right, and all of these cells will be, or we can say this range can be easily selected, okay? Now if I have to use the keyboard for the same, what can I do? I will just go to the cell that I have to start the range from using the arrow keys, then press shift, then press the arrow key wherever we want to move, right? Like right now I press the right arrow key and I've selected this range of cells, the gray range, right? If suppose I have to select this range, go to the first cell, press shift and then go down, right? Now I have to go to the right, so I'm going to press the right arrow key, and now we have our range selected using the keyboard, right? So to select the range using the keyboard, we just have to press shift and use the arrow keys to go wherever we have to go, right? Now if I have to select random cells means non-adjacent cells, right? Like I have to select this cell, then this, then let's say here, then let's say this one. So how are we going to do that, right? Simply we are going to press the control key and use the mouse to start selecting our cell. Click on the cell that we have to select while pressing the control key. So my control key is pressed. Now I'm going to select this cell here. This one is already selected. Then this cell, whichever we need to select, we are going to click on that cell, and our non-adjacent cells have now been selected, right? So we just press the control key and use the mouse to start clicking on the cells that we would like to select. Okay. Now next we have to see is select the next cell. Now we know that in Excel we have areas where we have data, then we have areas that are empty, right? Let's say I have a series of data here in a column, right? Right now we're discussing with the column. Let's say A, B, C, then let's keep some space, then D, E and F. Okay. Now if I have this yellow cell selected, right? Now if I press Control and the down arrow key, what do you think what will happen? See, after this cell, the range text, this cell will get selected. I'm pressing Control and down arrow key. Okay. Now after this range, we know that we have a series of empty cells. So if I press the Control key and down arrow key, this cell will get selected. Let's try that. Control and down arrow key. Okay. Now we know that we have a series of text. We have cells with a series of text, right? So again, if I press the Control key with the down arrow key, we will end up on the last cell that has the text, that is C. Okay. So Control and down arrow, we get C. Now we know that we have series of empty cells. So again, if I press Control and down key, it will get to the cell containing the alphabet D. Control down. Okay. And again, if I press Control and down arrow key, it will go to F. Okay. So this is what Control and arrow keys can be used for, to get to the starting of the cell containing text to end of the series, that is the end of the cell containing text. Alright. Now if I press Control and right arrow key, it will get to the end of the columns, the last column in the in this worksheet, right? XFD. This is the last column in my worksheet, correct? So again, if I press Control and left arrow key, it will bring me back to F, right? The cell containing the text. Alright. Now if I have to select random ranges, so similarly, just like we selected random cells, we can select random ranges also, that is non-adjacent ranges, by pressing Control key, going to the cell that we need to start from, clicking on the mouse and dragging and dropping, correct? Select the first cell, press Control key, keep the mouse key pressed, drag and drop. Now suppose I have to select this range, so I'm going to click here, drag and drop while pressing the left key on the mouse. Again click here, drag down, right, and we have selected the non-adjacent ranges. Let's try one more. Keep the Control key pressed and drag and drop. Okay, so this is how we can select random or non-adjacent ranges. Okay, now next is, what is a row? So these horizontal cells that you can see, the group of horizontal cells in a line, are nothing but the row. These numbers here represent the names of the row. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. Okay, so these are the rows. Alright. Now if I have to select a row, there are again two ways of doing that. First is using the mouse. I can just simply click on the name of the row. If I have to select this yellow row, let's say. So this yellow row is the 9th row. So I'm going to press, or I can say I'm going to click on number 9, and this row will get selected. Okay. Now if I have to select a row using the keyboard, right? So let's say I have to select this blue row. So I'm going to bring my cell over this row, any cell. Okay, I can go to any cell in this row. Then I'm going to press shift and space, and you can see the row gets selected, right? If I have to select the row with the cell containing the alphabet B, right? I'm just going to get to the cell B, or the row that contains the cell B. I'm going to press shift and space, and the row gets selected. Alright. Now I have to select random rows. Again, I'm going to click on control and use my mouse to select the rows, whichever I want to select. Okay. We're going to use the mouse to click on the names of the rows, and those rows will get selected. See, all of this is very important. It's important to know how to select non-adjacent rows, columns, cells, ranges while we are working with large quantities of data, because there could be changes that we might want to make to multiple cells or multiple rows or multiple columns at once, and at that time this is going to be very useful. Okay, now what is a column? These vertical cells, right? These are the columns. To select a column, we're just going to again click on the names. These A, B, C, D, these are the names of these columns. Okay, if I have to select column H, I'm just going to simply click on H. If I have to select column M, I'm simply going to click on letter M. Okay, and this is how we can select a column. If I have to do that using the keyboard, I'm just going to get to the cell that I have to select the column for. Let's say I have to select G. I'm going to select any cell in the column G. Then I'm going to press control and space, and the column gets selected. Okay. Now if I have to select random columns, again I'm going to press the control key and select the columns using the mouse by clicking on their names, and those columns get easily selected, the non-adjacent columns. Just press the control key and it works. Okay. Now if I have to select all the cells of this worksheet, what can I do? I'm simply going to take my selection over any cell that is empty. Okay, over an empty cell, and simply press Ctrl A, and the whole worksheet gets selected, right? You can see the whole worksheet is selected right now. Okay, or the other option is to click on this small arrow here. If we click on this small arrow here, all the cells will get selected in the worksheet. Okay, now if I have to select a table, what can we do? We simply get to the first cell of that table, the first one. Okay, first on the extreme left and the extreme top, and press Ctrl A, and you can see the table gets selected, right? The other way is to select a table, just click on the first cell and drag your mouse down, just like we select the range, right? That is how we can select the table also. But easier option is to get to the first cell and press Ctrl A, and the table gets selected. Alright, I hope all of this was clear. In the next video, we are going to discuss how we can insert cells, rows and columns, how we can delete the cells, rows and columns, right? That is, we are going to discuss how to format the cells, rows and columns. Now we are going to start with entering the data into our Excel files, and the fun portion will begin now, right? Because that is the main place where we are going to need the shortcuts and quick fixes, right? So stay tuned for more such amazing content. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.